Hello and welcome to Let's Examine Addiction Honestly podcast. My name is Charles. Today we're actually going to be talking about Veterans Affairs and addiction. I actually went to Veterans Affairs before I got my DUI to try to get help with my drinking. I already wasn't trusting of them from my time trying to get therapy help and anxiety medications for my anxiety, so I didn't expect much, but what I did run into was kind of crazy. And forgive this information, it's pretty old. It's been years since this actually happened, so things might have changed. As always, please understand that I'm not a trained professional. Please do not use this podcast as an alternative to proven medical methods such as AA, NA, therapy, rehab, etc. So when I did go to Veterans Affairs, I went to stop drinking. I was actually going to AA on my own. It was, I think, slightly before. Actually, I might be messing that information up. I might have been trying to go to get my signatures for my DUI. I'm almost certain it was before. I may be wrong. It might have been during, but I don't think so because none of what I'm going to say would actually line up with it being during. So when I originally went to the VA, I went for my anxiety and they bounced me around to a bunch of different pills. It was kind of crazy. I had bad side effects from all of them. None of my anxiety meds actually helped at all. And my doctor was absolutely terrible. I have so many bad things to say about the VA that I absolutely hate. Such as one time I was told I was out of shape and needed to drink water, and that's why I was exhausted all the time. And later I'd come to find out it was a bunch of different Gulf War issues. That's a whole different topic, honestly. But I went there, had all the issues with the medication, had a psych that wasn't good at all. I was talking about leaving the prison at that time, trying to get a job with the DEA. Ended up he essentially said that I should be content with where I was at in life, which is absolutely bonkers for a medical professional to say. I get if you are like wealthy or successful or at a good place in your life where you are happy with what you've achieved, but as somebody who was trying to figure out my life at the time, getting my degree in criminal justice, I wasn't really too content with my life. I wanted to make things better, and just to be told I should be content was a little wild to me and a little off-putting. So I didn't have much faith in them. When I did want to stop drinking, I ended up going there. I figured AA meetings, perfect. Other veterans. It's one of those things where I can focus on drinking less or not at all, preferably for the most part. And the group itself was actually amazing. Did connect with the veterans. Went, I think, just to the one. I ended up getting busy with work because working at the prison was about 16 hours a day every other day for most of my 3 years there. But a week or so later, I ended up getting this letter in the mail from the VA actually stating that they wanted me to sign, essentially admitting that I was an alcoholic, which was extremely off-putting. I get that I was going there for Alcoholics Anonymous. It's right in the name, but I also don't want to sign paperwork saying that I'm an alcoholic. That also doesn't sit right with me. I get it might have been for documentation, or the wording might have just been how I took it, but honestly, it kind of angered me because I was going there for help, and I've never really felt that they've been helpful. Even after about essentially my entire adult life outside of the military, I've always tried to carry private insurance because the VA is so hard to deal with. It is kind of a crapshoot. I either don't get help. I once had, I don't know, it was a mass on the top of my wrist, like a giant bump, and essentially all the, I can't even think about, registered nurse, I guess would have been what it was, said that they hit it with a mallet and it dissipates. He was joking, but they had never ended up actually doing anything for it. They essentially just sent me on my way, and I got rid of it by massaging it, and it thankfully eventually went away. But I've asked for so many different things, not like a ton of things out of the realm of normal, but getting different testing to see, why I'm tired all the time. I could sleep, well, normally if I sleep about 4 hours, I feel fantastic, oddly enough, but I can sleep 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, and I feel like garbage all the time. I try to work out. I'm a little chunky, I'll admit that, but most of the time, even right now, I'm a parent, I work, I do a bunch of other stuff. So sometimes exercise does get slipped on the back burner, but you can at least try to look into a few different things. It wasn't actually until the PACT Act came out that I realized, oh, there's probably a whole bunch of other things going on. So that's probably one of the reasons. And they just are not helpful. I signed up for that thing too, and they took some questions and never really did anything else. I mean, it kind of sucks because I'm 35 and my muscles ache all the time. I'm constantly exhausted, memory issues, tons of anxiety, and I'm drinking way less than I ever have in my entire life, and it almost seems like these issues are actually getting worse. So it's a little disheartening. And I don't think drinking fueled any of these, honestly, just because I could see in the long run, and I've never been a super hardcore alcoholic. I drink pretty heavily on the weekends. I never drink like before work. There's one time I drank during work. A friend of mine, we were at the motor pool, which is where we stored the vehicles. Didn't have anything to do that day. Went back to the barracks, took shots, and then went back and messed around in the motor pool. We weren't driving or anything like that. So, but that was just messing around. I've never been the one to want to drink on the job, so. But it just seems that the VA didn't really take drinking out. They didn't take it super seriously, I guess. I don't know how to put it. Even now, I have trouble finding events. I don't think I've seen any AA meetings for them. Even a lot of their like group therapy sessions are either really limited or they don't have a whole lot of options, which really does suck because it'd be nice to sit and talk with other veterans. That's why I have joined one of the local American Legions a few years ago. I fully suggest that. Even if you don't drink, going down there and getting involved is a way to help yourself out a ton. I ended up getting kind of roped into being the finance officer. It's been super stressful. Thankfully, I think they found somebody this year, so after 2 years, they're going to replace me. I got so much else going on, especially the kids, and the two foster kids we have might come up for adoption. So the last thing I want to do is trying to be balancing these accounts and doing taxes and all this other stuff that, while it is rewarding, I know I'm helping the post, it also is not beneficial to anything else. So I fully suggest that. I do at some point want to start some sort of either dad's group or something where just talk to other veterans. I think that a lot of the time I don't talk to a whole bunch of other people. I guess veterans in general really don't reach out. There was one Vietnam veteran that I was talking to there who was talking. He was actually talking to, or about, it wasn't the American Legions, it might have been the VFW, and his treatment after Vietnam by some of those veterans. And it was astounding to hear that, but it was something that was honestly important to hear, just because I know with my grandpa being a Vietnam veteran, he dealt with a lot of that. So if you're feeling alone, I know a big portion of the Legion, a lot of the people do drink, but there are people there that don't drink. There's a ton of stuff you can get involved with that doesn't involve drinking. There's a lot of kids programs you can help out with. So if you're looking for an alternative to kind of AA, I never really felt a huge connection in AA. I wanted to go back even after my DUI, but between not knowing one at the VA and I just never found a group that I fully connected to. It was more of I went because I had to at the time. I love the concept and it does help a ton of people, but I just never found a connection. I think it'd be beneficial for me to go back. I think honestly that'd be the way I kick drinking for good, but overall that's my experience with Veterans Affairs and addiction. I've never really heard any good stories. I don't like the VA in Grand Rapids, and I've heard great things about other facilities. So it's probably just my experience, and who knows, I might have taken that letter wrong. But I don't really trust them in general for the, let's see, I've been out for 14 years. 14 years I've dealt with them. I think a lot of them just kind of skirt by. I've seen them be rude to other veterans, not take things that I want to look into seriously. There were years I didn't even go back. So my insurance through them lapsed as if I was heartbroken about that. But it's just one of those things. Take care of yourself. Look into other options. If you can't find AA meetings, therapy, psychs at the VA, look elsewhere. Find somewhere that helps for you. Change therapists and psychs until you find one that you connect with or are comfortable with. Don't be content like the guy told me to be, because your mental health matters, especially if you're trying to quit drinking or fighting addiction. I've only ever dealt with drinking and cigarettes were my big ones, but quit smoking, drinking's way down, and none of it was thanks to the VA. But if you have any stories you want to share, especially about the VA, I always love talking to other veterans about their experiences, what they've gone through, their suggestions. Please reach out. You can email me at letsexamineaddictionhonestly at gmail or theleahpodcast at gmail.com. And as Alan Watts says, actually, please like, subscribe, and email me. Give me any feedback, ideas, or stories. Love to hear how to make the podcast better. I'm always looking to change and actually do something that makes it more beneficial and interesting. But as Alan Watts said, you are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.